If you are in the market for a sliding bow sight, please watch this before you buy one of these sights. I'm going to go over each one and some of the things that I thought were important when I was buying the sight, but I'm just going to go through all of them and the facts of each one, and hopefully by the end of this you can decide which one's best for you. If you are looking for an opinionated review of all of these bow sights, I will leave that video down in the description, so check out that video. But let's dive right into all of these sights and the features of them. So I have the Nytrx Pro here, the Spot Hogg Boonie, Axcel Driver, UV Slider 2, and the Dialed Pruf bow sights. All of these are in 3-pin horizontal, so that way they are the most comparable to the same thing. So let's dive into them. They all offer first, second, and third axis adjustments, although a couple of them are a little bit different, and I'll go through that here in a second. So leveling of each of these bow sights. The ones that I found to be the easiest to set up are the Axcel Driver and the UV Slider 2. Those are the easiest to get leveled up to your bow, but I'll kind of go through which ones offer micro adjust and not. The HHA Nytrx Pro, it has the micro adjust third axis leveling, but that is it. The other ones you just have to loosen and tighten and get it leveled yourself. Spot Hogg Boonie is kind of the same way, but they kind of use a tightening and loosening system. So you tighten one and then you tighten them both up once you get it to exactly where you want it. But it's kind of a half moon deal. So you tighten and loosen one or the other and it moves it. So it takes a little bit of setup time, but then you also have the micro adjust second axis adjustment for the Boonie. On the Driver, you have the first and second axis are locked together, so that's what's different about these ones and the UV Slider 2. But then, so those are micro adjust, and then on your third axis adjustment, kind of like the half moon thing, but you have 2 screws here, so you just move it and then lock in both those screws to hold it in place. Everything is micro adjust on the UV Slider 2, so that is one really great feature of that, but the first and second are locked together on it as well. The Dialed Pruf, it is for micro adjust first and second. You do have a little screw in here, so it's kind of micro adjust third axis adjustment as well. So the N3 are definitely the easiest to level to your bow. So when these sights are in the locked position, I'm going to go over which ones move and which ones do not. So the HHA Nytrx Pro does not move when it is fully locked. The Spot Hogg Boonie does not move either. The Driver will move. The UV Slider 2 moves as well. And the Dialed Pruf does not move. So the UV Slider 2 is actually engineered to do that. It is definitely a little tough to move, but if you do grab it, you can slide it. And same with the Driver. When it is fully locked down, you can still push it. It is tough to push. I don't think either one of them would move on you, but that is something that can happen. But one nice thing is, if you are in the heat of the moment, it's locked down, you can actually just grab the wheel and twist it and it will move. Whereas the other ones, it's locked. So one of the features, if that's something you're interested in, it's kind of nice to be able to move them, but at the same time, if they are on your back or you're carrying your bow and you want to make sure it's not going to move, the HHA, Spot Hogg, and Dialed are not going to move on you. Sunshades, which ones come with sunshades, so you can adjust the pin brightness, especially if you're in the middle of the day and the sun is really bright. The Dialed Pruf is actually going to be the best. It blocks out the most light just because all the fibers are right in the top, so you can lock that down and it's going to block out the most light. The Driver has the sunshade, and so does the HHA. The Driver's pretty easy to move, but you still have some of the exposed fibers here, so it's still pretty bright even when you dial the sunshade back. So the 3 that offer sunshades are the HHA, Dialed Pruf, and the Driver BOWSIGHT. They all have 0 stops, so that is no longer an issue, which is really nice that they all offer that. All of them are pretty adjustable, so they're going to make it work for whatever your bow setup is. So if you can swap out scope housings, a lot of these are going to be pretty difficult to do it. Some of them you can do, and it might be limited a little bit. I know I have ran the UV on the HHA sights before, so that one you can swap. And they also do the same thing with the Spot Hogg Boonie. They make a bracket for the Boonie as well. The other three, I'm going to say no, but you could probably find a way to do it. The two issues you're going to run into are with the driver and the slider 2 are the first and second axis are locked together. So it's going to be really tough to make sure that those are exactly perpendicular to each other so they stay locked at the same way and one's not tilted one way or the other when you go to put it on those. So some of them you can still swap out. It might be just a lot more difficult. But I would say on the two that have the first and second axis locked together, it's going to be really hard to swap out the scope housings. And I believe there's also some aftermarket manufacturers that make scope housings that can fit all these, but double check before you do it. And like I said, the driver and slider 2 are going to be really difficult to make sure that you can keep those leveled right. These are all sight light compatible, so you can add a light to any one of these. The UV and the dialed, you're going to have to buy directly through them. And I think you could probably run any light on the others. Don't quote me on that, but they can all run sight lights. All of these sights can mount to any bows. You can get them with the pick mount, and then also the dovetail mount. And if you have a Matthews bow, I think they are all bridge lock compatible as well. So now let's go over the weight of each one. So the HHA comes in at 12.85 ounces. The Boonie is 12.95 ounces. The driver is 9.1 ounces. The slider 2 is 9.3 ounces. And the Dialed Pruf is 10.6 ounces. Cost for the HHA, you're looking at $450 roughly. $445 for the Boonie. $500 for the driver. The UV slider 2 is $550 and $590 for the Dialed Pruf. All of these are made in the USA besides the UV slider 2. Pin brightnesses, they're all very good with brightness. The least bright is probably the slider 2, and the two brightest that I found to be were the Axcel Driver and the Dialed Pruf. And on these sights, all of the pins are adjustable. The only ones that are not is the UV slider 2. You cannot move that middle pin. So if that's something you're looking for, you can't move the pin on this one. So those are all the things that I took into consideration when I was looking for the sight. Durability is on there. So for that one, you're looking at the HHA is all metal. The Boonie does have a plastic gear. The Axcel Driver is metal. The UV slider 2 is metal, and the Dialed Pruf is metal. Although the Spot Hogg Boonie, I'd think you'd have to really mess something up to ever have any problems with the gears on it. That is my review of going over each of the sights and pretty much the facts on them. Try to be unbiased as possible on that review. If you do want to see my opinion of which one I like the best, check out the video down below. And I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you found this to be helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions on any of these sites, please leave them down below in the comments and I will answer them the best as possible. And hopefully if I can't answer them, somebody else can answer them for you. Thanks for watching. Stay hidden and good luck out there.